Hey everyone, welcome back and welcome to the support group for Bitcoin miners, enthusiasts, and investors. I guess we could call this a support group. I thought it was funny, we had that in a previous session, so I just can't remember that right now. But nonetheless, today was a good day for Bitcoin miners more or less. Bitcoin is battling with our resistance line, which we'll take a look at. We'll also talk about the miners. Miners had a really good day. There were two that did fantastic today. But what we got on the plate here is we got some miners coming out with their dates for their Q3 results. We'll talk about those really quick. We'll get into also Iren providing a really good update here on their business operations. And then we'll also talk about, who was it? Wulf. Wulf got a new investor relations person there as well. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then we'll get into the miner that I'm removing from here. Most of you guys probably already know this, who it's going to be, but there might be another one being added to that list as well down the road here. We'll talk about that one as well towards the end here. Okay. So let's get into the stuff that we need to get into, but always, you guys know this, not financial advice, for only do your own research. Full disclosure below that as always. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into what's happening here with Bitcoin right now and today and all that stuff, and we'll get into all the stories that we have. So Bitcoin actually had a pretty good day today. It was up approximately, what was it up? It was up 0.82%. So it wasn't up over 1%, but it was up like 1.51, almost like 2% up on the day here. It did go above our resistance line here, which is this orange line, which is just basically the previous highs that we had here, right? So it's kind of trending downwards. That's why we need to break above it. There were times where we got close to it, couldn't get above it, and we continued to fall down. And we had a nice kind of like accumulation phase here in Bitcoin over the last, I don't know, a couple months, right? But we're battling with it again here. So in order for us to have a nice bull run here, like we're expecting to have historically, we need Bitcoin to break above this line here, and it is battling with it here. If we look at the 15-minute chart on it, you can see how many times it's been trying to get above it and stay above it, but each time we do end up going below it. So the more times we do touch this line, the more likelihood there is of us going above this line here, which would then signal us for potentially a nice bull run going forward, which we're all expecting. So Bitcoin's doing pretty good for right now. I would still like to see maybe a little bit of a pullback on it, just a little bit, just to kind of, temper things down a little bit on the RSI, bring that down a little bit more, and then we go back up. So could that happen? Maybe. Could we continue to go up? Sure we can. Right. The RSI right now is about the same level as it was back on Friday the 27th of September. And at this time, price is actually higher. So we could do that for a while where we do this type of sideways action with the RSI while Bitcoin price is actually going up in value in the long term. All right. As far as the miners here, I broke this down into the basically large miners and the small miners here. We'll cover the large miners as we normally do here, but you guys can definitely see the numbers for the smaller miners as well. I mean, Mawson had a really good day today. It was up 21%. I don't know. I don't think there was any news for it. Let's just take a look at it here really quick. Was there any news from it? Director, this was from September 18th. So there's nothing new here on it. So I'm not sure why that one's pumping that hard. But what we had here was Bitfarms is up a little bit here today at 4.3%. So that was kind of good there. BitDigital was up also nicely today, 9.2%. It's having a nice run here in the last couple of days, especially with them buying that. I can't remember the name of the company they just bought here a day or two ago. And that one, so it's having a good day. BitTBT was up 7.4. Cipher was up nice today, 14% on that one. So that's looking good there as well. Cleanspark was up a little bit here, 5.4. It was up higher. I think it was like around 8% towards like the early afternoon, late morning hours. CORZ was up just a little bit here, 2.16%. Hive was up just a little bit, 3.6. Hut 8 was up 9.6. Iren was up 7% as well. Marathon was up 6.8. Riot was up just a little bit, 3.5 as well. And then Wulf was up 12.8% as well. So Wulf and Cipher had really good days here. Wulf, I think, is just continuing to catch a bid here on the HPC AI potential for them going forward. We'll talk about them in a minute anyways. So it was a good day for the miners, right? A lot of the miners were actually outperforming Bitcoin, which is what we want to see. Typically when Bitcoin does like 2x, the miners will do usually like somewhere between 4 and 6x on top of that. Not on top of it, but 4 and 6x in general, somewhere around there. So they always do a little bit better, especially in the bull run. So we're seeing that kind of setup here right now with most of these miners, except for a couple, but eventually I think they will catch a bid here as well. All right, so that's it on that one. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well. Let me update this really quick. On the 7-day average, it's coming down to 651 exahash here. And if we look at the 30-day average, that is starting to trend upwards as well. Right now we're at 650 exahash. It's still not the highest that we've had here. We had 653 exahash so far on it. All right. Now, as far as Bitcoin's performance here on the monthly chart or the table, we can see that Bitcoin's up 6.49% so far in October. That's looking pretty good here, and kind of what we would expect as well to happen. All right, so that's it on that. Let's take a look at the stories that we do have here, which is going to be first one, Cipher. So Cipher is going to be providing their third quarter financial results on October 31st, and they will host a webcast of that 8 a.m. Eastern time. So they're going to provide the financial results before the market opens. So that's a good there, right? It's only a couple, like 2 weeks away now. So that's actually pretty quick here. In the past, we've seen the miners report like usually 5 to 6 weeks out after the end of the quarter. But now we're seeing like they're getting things done a little bit faster here, which is good to see. Then we got Riot here also. Riot's going to provide theirs on Wednesday, October 30th, so the day before, and at 4:30 p.m. during the call. So they're having a call at 4:30 p.m. I'm guessing they're going to probably provide those numbers after the close of the trading day. So we got quite a few things to look forward to, seeing where they all end up at. And then I'm sure we're going to get more and more of these guys. The only one that I think is going to be a little bit longer time frame wise is going to be Cleanspark. I think Cleanspark has their end of year numbers, so those have to be audited. That always takes a little bit longer. So I'm expecting maybe like maybe first or second week in November we'll get those results from them. Maybe we'll get them sooner. That'd be great. That's kind of what I'm expecting here. Next year, so TeraWulf is appointing John Larkin as Director of Investor Relations. I'm not sure who the prior person was there. Maybe it was John there, or I'm not sure. But John is an industry veteran with 25 years in capital markets and financial services to lead TeraWulf's investor relations strategy. So today announced the appointment of John Larkin, Senior Vice President, as Senior Vice President Director of Investor Relations. In this role, Mr. Larkin will report to Chief Executive Officer Paul Prager. And then with over 25 years of experience in capital markets across buy-side and sell-side roles, Mr. Larkin brings extensive knowledge and insight into TeraWulf. Most recently, he served as Chief Operating Officer at Cut Asset Management. Before that, he spent nearly a decade at Susquehanna International Group, where he led the event-driven special situations desk and served as Assistant Director of Research. Mr. Larkin began his career at Citigroup, holding a variety of key positions. Okay. So it seems like a pretty good get for them, and wish them all the best, right? It's not an easy industry here. We got a lot of retail investors and everything else that are quite ornery, I guess you could say, when it comes to their stocks and everything else. And if the company doesn't do something well, oh man, they're going to hear about it, I'm sure. So that's not an easy role to be in, I believe. Next here, Iren. Iren actually had a pretty good business update here. So they just came out with this today. There is some good stuff in here as well. Going down here, so AI operation scaling and strong profit contribution. So key updates include GPU utilization. The company's current fleet of 816 NVIDIA H100 GPUs is nearing full utilization, with pending contracts expected to cover the remaining capacity. So that's great news there. Expansion plans, Iren is set to commission an additional 1,080 NVIDIA H200 GPUs in Q4, more than doubling its existing AI capacity. So that's also great there. Next generation GPUs. Design and procurement underway to accommodate liquid-cooled hardware, including NVIDIA Blackwell GB200 GPUs in existing Prince George and Childress data centers. So Prince George is in Canada. Childress is down in Texas. So that's kind of interesting that they're going to be putting some of those in there as well. I'm not sure why they would split those up. Usually you would want those to be in the same vicinity or close to it, unless they're going to do like maybe half and half or something like that, where they do whatever they got there. How many did they get? 10,000 or 1,080. So maybe they do 540 in each site. Maybe that would be the way to go, possibly there. And then this is really good news. So 1.4 gigawatt data center project update, accelerated timeline. The target energization date for Iren's 1.4 gigawatt substation at its West Texas data center projected has been brought forward to April 2026, earlier than originally contracted, date of October 2026. So what is that, roughly like 6 months earlier, right? Somewhere around there, 5 to 6 months earlier. So that's good news there. I still think this is going to be after the bull run that we've had here in Bitcoin. So it's not much going to be, it's not going to have much effect on them here currently. The only thing that is possible with this is if they get somebody to maybe lease that site out from them or sell that site to a hyperscaler or something like that. That's something that needs a lot of megawatts. So those are only one possibilities that could possibly be in this bull run, potentially. Okay. Key electrical items. Iren has engaged an EPC contract to develop its high and medium voltage substation infrastructure. Ongoing work on design and specifications continues, with procurement process underway for the following key electrical items. So they got quite a few things here. 4 by 560 megavolt, I believe, 345 kilovolt and 138 kilovolt transformers supporting 1,400 megawatts of bulk power substation capacity with redundancy and potential for future expansion. 8 138 kilovolt 3 by 35 kilovolt transformers supporting 1.4 gigawatts of primary substation capacity, and then various 345 kilovolt and 138 kilovolt circuit breakers and other ancillary equipment. So they're already getting that stuff going there. Land expansion. This is also good here. Iren has secured additional 800 acres of land, adding to its existing 500 acres of freehold land, bringing the total land holding to over 1,300 acres. And if you have 1.4 gigawatts of electricity there, you're going to need the land in order to, especially if you're going to be doing it for like HPC AI, if you're doing data centers for tier 3, things like that, you're going to need that additional space to build out that 1.4 gigawatts. So that's good there that they're forward thinking on it. And then monetization here. Planning is underway for both Bitcoin mining and HPC AI pathways with indicative interest from hyperscalers and other interested parties, right? So this is kind of interesting there. It would be interesting to see. Right now, we haven't seen anything. That's why I've been a little bit skeptical on how much will the hyperscalers actually work with the Bitcoin miners on these sites. Will they lease them? I'm still thinking that they probably would not want to lease. I'm thinking they would more likely want to buy them out, at least those sites there. So we'll see where this leads us in the next probably quarter to 2 quarters. I think we should probably see some more answers on that as far as the questions that we have as far as how will the hyperscalers work with the miners here. Okay. And that is it here. And then I got some assumption notes here. You guys can read that at your leisure as well. But yeah, this is really good news. Iren has been doing a great job of getting megawatts, right, lined up for future growth and everything else. And they've been one of the best companies here recently as far as execution goes with growing their Bitcoin mining. Their HPC side of the business, it's going to be generating pretty good revenue for them. What are they saying? 32 million here in annualized hardware profit by the end of December 2024, potentially for them, right? That's with that number one caveat here, which is down here, which is assumptions refers to proportion of illustrative annualized exit run rate. You guys can read all that. So that's kind of what they're going by there. So it will be interesting to see how they do on that. We do know one thing is that the HPCs, the GPUs there, the H100s, the H200s, and the Blackwells, those things are massively expensive. So it would be tough for them to build this out by themselves completely. They might have a little niche here where they can do these kind of smaller, shorter term contracts with some of these customers. For like large language model training and things like that. But when we're talking about like building out a 1.4 gigawatt station, you're talking about billions of dollars at that point. I think I ran the math on it earlier today, and I'm probably gonna be off here, but I believe it was, if you're gonna be building that out at approximately like $10 million per megawatt, that alone is already, what is that, $14 billion roughly on it. And then if you buy the GPUs and the servers and everything else like that, that's like another 30 some odd $1 billion, if not more than that. So it would be, they're only valued right now at what, approximately 2 billion something. You would almost need like venture capital getting into it here with a series of investments into them possibly, but I don't think that's possible because they're already a publicly traded company, but I could be wrong on that. Other way for them to grow would be just to dilute like crazy here in order to do that, potentially. But if they signal that, would that actually mean that the stock would go up, X amount, where then the dilution is much less than if you were to dilute at these current levels? So a lot of things to think about here with them, but they're doing all the right things, I think, here going forward. getting more megawatts. They're executing exceptionally well with their Bitcoin mining and everything else. So they're kind of executing really well on both fronts, which is really nice to see here. All right, and that's why, as you guys know, I'm an investor in Iren as well. All right, so that's it on that one. And then let's get into why I'm getting rid of a miner here. And the reason is I've been kind of thinking about it in the back of my head here. But today we had Sam Tabar with BitDigital be on power mining analysis video with Bryce and Anthony. And in that video, he basically stated that he would not be interested in expanding their Bitcoin mining unless Bitcoin is like 120, 140,000 at that point. Then they would possibly think about it. And that got me thinking, like, okay, we know that they're not going to be growing their hash rate any further, right? They're only at 2.4 exahash right now. Even let's say Bitcoin gets to 120,000 or 40,000, whatever it might be, before they consider it. That might be too late of a time to actually get into it, because then you have to order the machines, you have to get them in, you have to change out the machines that they do have. So even if they change out the machines that they do have right now that are at 2.4, they could possibly get them to about 5 exahash, right? Unless they get some other sites or whatever it might be. But still, by the time we get to Bitcoin being 120, 140,000, we might be already like at 3/4 of the bull run here with Bitcoin, where I'm thinking Bitcoin might go to like 180,000. The power law is saying that Bitcoin might go to 150,000. And at that point, it's just kind of like, was it going to be actually worth it for them to do this? And I would think that they would probably not want to do it, because at that point, you're going to be paying more per terahash on the miners. By the time you get things ordered, shipped, installed, everything else, you're going to be at least probably 2 to 3 months out after that time frame. And by then, you're only looking at maybe like 6 months at best of the bull run here. And then you're going to be going down on the sideways. So I don't know if it's going to be that time frame and everything else would work out for them to do it. That's why I'm thinking that they will eventually scrap the Bitcoin mining side of the business. They're going to use the machines that they do have here already. If we look at BitDigital here right now, their miners here are the older miners, right? They are the 100 terahash. I'm guessing these 88 terahash miners are probably not even operating right now anymore. And then they have the 103 terahash, 120, and 111 terahash miners here. So those are going to be profitable as long as Bitcoin's up there and everything else, probably for the next year, maybe year and a half even. So they're probably, this is just my guesstimation here, but I would think that they would just run these machines to the ground, pull as much as they can from them, and then be done with it. Because one, you really can't, they could separate the business segments, but you would want to do that right now before Bitcoin really starts going up in value and get things installed as quickly as possible. And they're not doing that. So that leads me to believe that they are eventually going to be getting rid of the Bitcoin mining segment of it. And you can't really sell it, because what do you have there? You have older generation miners. You could sell the miners, yes, but you can't really sell the business segment, because who's going to want older miners where they're all hosted anyways? So that's kind of my thoughts on it, why I'm possibly getting rid of them. Well, I will be getting rid of them, actually, I think, because they're at 2.4 exahash right now. There has been absolutely no growth from them here this year. And you can see here, they got to 2.7 exahash in February, and it's actually been coming down here as of August and September. And you can see their Bitcoin production has been coming down as well. Every single month, it's just getting less and less on it. So I will be getting rid of them. One of my things for this year was miners are going to be getting to at least 5 exahash. They're not even targeting that. They're at where they're at right now. So that was kind of my cutoff mark for covering the larger miners. I think next year also we might up that to miners that are not getting to like 10 exahash at least or higher. We might even jump that up to 20 exahash depending where some of these bigger guys go, just to cut off some of the smaller miners that are not growing as much. So that could possibly include in there, if we cut it off at 10, we would have to see where like Hut 8 is at that point. I believe Hive is trying to get to at least 13, and those like that. There might be also another one that might be on the chopping block, and that would be actually TeraWulf here. TeraWulf has recently said that they are not planning on any Bitcoin mining growth. It seems like they're also transitioning more into the HPCI business side of things. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, the good thing is like with Digital getting out of it, it means that the miners that are more into Bitcoin mining will have better revenues because of it, because there's less competition here. Same thing with TeraWulf. If TeraWulf gets out of it, I'm not saying that they will, I'm just saying that they might, based on the simple fact that they're not planning on any growth here for the remainder of this year and into next year as well. So that might be another one that might be on the chopping block. And then at that point, I may have to just do a separate separate analysis on maybe like just the HPC AI plays on some of these guys here. If they provide, but yeah, I mean, unless they provide like monthly updates, but why would they? Right? If they're HPC AI plays, why would they provide monthly updates? Because not much changes there. The only thing that's going to change there for them is if they get a new customer, right? And that's how the revenue is going to be driven, is new customers. If they get new customers, they're going to be generating more revenue, things like that. Other than that, I mean, Bitcoin miners are going to continue to provide monthly updates because so much changes in Bitcoin, their hash rate growth, all that stuff, everything else. But with HPC AI plays, you can provide updates every couple of weeks or something like that, that, hey, we got a new customer, or we didn't get a new customer, or whatever it might be. And you might just get the quarterly updates and that's it. And then you're beholden to them getting new customers. So it's going to be a battle with the HPC AI players to get new customers. So that's why I'm thinking eventually prices are going to come down, because you're trying to attract customers there. And especially as we have more and more of these HPC AI players in there, along with the hyperscalers and everything else, they're all going to be battling for the same customers, more or less. I think hyperscalers can probably offer a little bit more as far as services and products that some of these smaller guys can't do. Right? They can also expand. They can grow with the hyperscalers, where with some of these smaller guys, it might be a little bit more tougher to do that. So there's a lot of things that we need to consider here with this HPCI play, I think. And it's something that I have to really figure out, think about, and figure out if I want to do an HPCI segment or track those types of plays. But we'll have those discussions later on when things get to that point. But right now, we're still, I think, in the early stages of everything here. Okay. But that is it. What else do I want to show you guys here? The other thing I wanted to show you guys is, let me see here, stock performance. Oh, yeah, stock performance and enterprise metrics. So I did some numbers here. One number was from the beginning of this month, so as of October 1st, how far the miners have gone up here. And we can see here Cipher has done the best. It's up 39% here in this month, followed by Cleanspark up 37%. Then you got Riot up 28%. So those have been like the best performing here. And then you got Iris, BitDeer, TeraWulf, Marathon, BitDigital kind of all being in the 20s here. They've performed the same. Hive's only up 16, CORZ Scientific up 12, Hut 8, 11%, and our dear old Bitfarms is way down 2.53% from everybody else. So that one is definitely way underperforming here. And that's why we had the video yesterday about it. Okay, now when we look at the price percentage difference here, this is for basically the second half of the year. So we're looking at July 1st through today. We can see that CORZ Scientific has been the best performer at 34%, followed by BitDigital at 14, Hive at 7, actually Cipher at 6, TeraWulf at actually down being 0.19. And then the worst performer here has been actually Cleanspark, 33% down, along with Bitfarms 27%, Iris 25%. And that's why I keep saying that I think some of these guys here might catch a better bid going up, because they've been just so beaten down here in the past. Okay, there's that. And then enterprise metrics here as well. We can see how everything stacks up here. Again, we have Bitfarms, Riot, Cleanspark, Iris all being way undervalued for the future hash rate compared to some of these other guys here, which I would expect that to flip in time when Bitcoin continues its rally going forward. Okay. But that's it. Let's call it a day. Let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things. See if you guys have any questions on things, and we'll go from there. So again, thank you everyone coming in here to spend your time on this Wednesday night with me. But let's get into the Q&A side of things here. Let's see what you guys have to say. And I'll try to catch up with some of the questions. Let's see. Looks like you guys aren't as busy as you were yesterday with comments, which is good. I can kind of see where we are at with things. Let's see. Okay. Para says, from a technical perspective, Bitfarms 51% move to the upside is highest probable outcome in the next weeks. I would be fine with that. I think a lot of people would be happy with that. D Shep Dabos says, been averaging down on Riot and Bitfarms, still way red though. Need DA pump. Yeah, I can definitely understand being down. It's definitely very, very rough. Let's see here. Okay, Shishi, I guess. Sebastian, the liquid cooling at Childress and Prince George for Iren is now related to the H200 order. The H200 will be all BC. They're testing liquid cooling at both Childress and... Okay, interesting. Thank you for that. Mr. I think it's Credit. Iren and Cleanspark are not done climbing. Yeah, I don't think so either. Jim Allen says, yeah, I wanted to buy more Cleanspark and Iren, but both have climbed up too much. They're still pretty low, I think. Now is a good time to get in if you can. If you have a little dip, definitely buy into them at that point. Okay, let's see what else here. Okay, Jim says, thought that I could maximize with Bitfarms. That was kind of my thinking also, and still is, I think. I think they're still way undervalued from where they really should be. We'll see. I'll give them another month and a half, see where they go with their hash rate and everything else, and then at that point, we'll reevaluate. Mark says, Iren overextended, way too much diversity, in my opinion. I don't know. It's not too much diversity. They only have two things, Bitcoin mining or HPC. And if it's too much for them with the HPC side of the thing, they can sell a portion of the site or one of the sites and make money on it that way too. Okay. Mr. Credit says, I do hope Bitfarms is next to rally. I'm waiting to see if, what was his name? Bunta is continuing to sell his shares. We might see another sell thing from him next week. So if that stops, that might be pretty good for us. Jim Allen says, way upside down on Cleanspark 1750. Okay, yeah, you still have a ways to go before you break even on that one. Dollar cost averaging if you can. If you guys have been with me long enough, you know that I've been buying into Cleanspark since January of 2022 at $9.50, and it went down to like $1 something, and I was buying that whole time because I just didn't know where the bottom was going to be, but I wanted to buy as many shares as I possibly could. So I know how it feels. I was down like 60, 80% of some of these guys here at one point, and I just continued to buy. Okay. Roger says, should remove Hut 8 also from the list. Yeah, that's another one that I was... Did I mention that one? I thought I maybe mentioned that. Maybe not. But Hut 8 is also one of those ones. They have a lot of things going for them. Self-mining is a very small portion of it right now. They're above the 5 exahash threshold for me right now, but next year might increase to 10 exahash. And at that point, if they're not there, and we'll see where they get to, but they do have a lot of other business segments, the hosting, the managed services as well. Now they're getting to HPCI as well. We'll see how things progress for them. Let's see. Okay, did you guys see the guy in C with 2.7 million in Cleanspark shares or dollars? And in C, where's C at? What is C? This Shell Pass says, I would love it if we deleted Hut 8. It might happen. Let's see. Mark says, Neuro from Discord is going to be so disappointed that Bit Digital is his favorite at all. Yeah, I mean, you know, if there's transitioning, there's not much I can do if they're transitioning over. They're not growing. So it's like, okay, we're going to watch their slow death in Bitcoin mining. This too shall pass says, each stock you watch requires maintenance, so great to delete what don't work. Yep. Okay. Let's see. So if you're going to get rid of Bit Digital, you might as well get rid of Hut 8. They are not growing their mining business. Yeah. The only thing that's kind of, like I said, my original threshold for this year was 5 exahash. If you're not getting to 5 exahash, I was putting you down into the smaller miners. Next year's probably going to be 10 exahash. They are getting Bitmain miners there that they're hosting with the option to possibly buy. So that's the only thing that's kind of making me on the fence on them right now, at least. Okay. Let's see. Your coin had a nice pump. Maybe we should add it to our itinerary sub. Yeah, but how would I cover them, right? The only thing that really helps them is volume. People betting on Bitcoin going down, going up, whatever it might be, shorting, things like that. That's where they make their money. How can I actually cover them as far as metrics and things like that? I could talk about them as far as what do they do each day. Yeah, I could do that. But there's not much I can do as far as metrics. I mean, we could maybe look at quarterly results, how many customers they had, things like that, all that stuff. Okay. Rohit, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. What do you mean by chopping block? Who all are not going to be in BTC? Chopping block. I didn't say anything about block. I said something about possibly Wulf, right? Possibly there, Hut 8 maybe, if they're not growing, their Bitcoin mining side of the business. The Galaxy Digital Mining Department also, well, they don't provide monthly updates, I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't believe they provide monthly updates, and I need those to track the miners to see how they're doing. What about Griffin? We should add it to the NLS. It's going to pump soon. They're also a small miner, right? They're less than 1 exahash right now. If anything, I could possibly add them into like the smaller miners. Okay. Okay, let's see. Roger, Chris Cox says, Roger, I saw a guy on X with like 224,000 shares of Cleanspark. Pretty wild. Yeah, that is pretty wild. Wish I had that many. Okay. Talk about Hut 8. Let's see. Victor asks, is Wulf a good investment? Thanks. It might be a good investment for HPC AI. On the Bitcoin side of things, for Bitcoin mining, that one's questionable for me. Right there at 10 exahash with the joint venture, which they sold the joint venture out now. So that should be going into their own mining, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to say. We'll have to wait and see if they get a customer for the HPC AI or something, or hyperscaler or something. Okay, Craig asks, hey, said with Bonta selling his Bitfarms shares, does that boost or have any effect on the percentage owned by Riot? Thanks. No, that doesn't do anything on it. The shares are out there already. They're accounted for. Okay. When do you think the bull run will start? Will it be December or March next year? We're already in the bull run, I think. We just need to get past the resistance right now, which is around $79, $700, $800 to like, not 79, 69. Is it 69? Where am I at here with my numbers? I got too many numbers in my head. Let's see your Bitcoin here. Let's take a look at it. Screen. There's our resistance right now. It is at 68,000 to like depending on when we do it, it's like 67,800, maybe somewhere around there. That's our resistance. We've been battling with it right now for 2 days. We might have a third day here today and Thursday as well. If we can get above that, I think that's when we're going to take off here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of pullback. I think that would be kind of healthy, and then we go back up. But we'll see on that one. Okay. What else here? Are ETFs eating up some of the money that went to miners last cycle? I don't think so. The people that are in the ETFs are not going to be getting to the miners anyways. The miners are very volatile. And the ETFs, you might be having people that have 401ks, profit sharing plans, all that stuff, retirement plans. Those are the people that are going to be getting into the ETFs possibly with a small percentage of their portfolio going into it. It's not going to be these, I guess you could say, degens like we are, where we're monitoring these guys, we're tracking them, we're communicating with the CEOs of these companies to see what the heck is going on with them all. Those people are not going to be doing that. Let's see. Tej says 234 people in here. Smash the like and subscribe. Share the link. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoy it, definitely. Can Cleanspark get to 70 realistically with 140 BTC? 140, I would think it'd have to be higher than that. I would think it'd have to be maybe like higher even than 180. The number of shares that they have increased. I'm thinking between $60 and $70, like around 150, 180,000, somewhere around there. You could see that somewhere around there, but above that, or 70. Yeah, I think it might be higher, but you never know. I'm being kind of conservative on my numbers. We could go up much higher, but we'll see. Okay, Robbie asks, how do you rank Riot in your miners list? Heavily invested in that, not break even yet, but close. Should I continue to hold or diversify into other miners too? Right now, they're ranking pretty low, actually. And the only reason they're ranking pretty low is because of their, well, there's probably two reasons for it. The main reason is their operational uptime has not been great. I'd like to see that closer to like 95%, which is what Jason has stated that they should be at on average over the year. So that's kind of what my expectation is. That's where I like to see them. The other thing is, and this is more on the financial side of things, is their share-based compensation has been outrageous here in the last 2 quarters. We'll see what it comes in at third quarter. For those reasons, I haven't invested in Riot because of those things. But if they can fix the share-based compensation, get that much lower, fix the operational uptime, I think then they would be a pretty good bet, possibly. Ivan says bull run already started. Yeah. Let's see. Have you seen any upticks with video views since BTC is trending upwards? More positive vibes. I saw an uptick yesterday. I'll be honest with you guys. It was like double what I've seen here recently. Typically, I get about 2.5 thousand views a video. Yesterday's video, because I said, what did I say? Selling Bitfarms, right? That got everybody's interest peaked. That video, I think, is close to like 5,000 right now. But they've been averaging around between 2,000 and 3,000 views. So I haven't seen really much of an uptick. Okay. Ed says, yeah, here. Massive 8 cents Bitfarms gain today is due for a healthy correction pullback. Were you able to get in touch with Ben for an interview? Thanks. I did reach out to Ben. I haven't heard back from him yet, but it's through Twitter. So it's through the Twitter, not the comments, but the Twitter private chats. Sometimes it takes a day or two for them to respond. So I'll give him, at least another day or two to respond to that, and we'll see what he says. Okay. Also, what is your opinion on MicroStrategy? Do you own that stock? Any pros, cons of holding it compared to the miners? MicroStrategy, I do not own it. I believe it is at a very minimum at 2x on top of Bitcoin, right? Sometimes it does much better than that. It kind of front runs Bitcoin, but then it eventually pulls back down to being about 2 to 3x on Bitcoin. So I think it's great if you hold it. I think it's possibly a safer bet than miners are, especially if you don't know which miners to get into, because the miners are just so volatile. I think MicroStrategy is a little bit less volatile than they are, but sometimes it does front run it, which I think happened here recently, and I think we're seeing a little pullback right now. Okay. Hello, so between Riot and Mara, which one would you choose? Thanks. Right now, I would probably choose Mara. Mara does have better operational uptime. Excuse me, I had to burp. Mara has better operational uptime here recently, and they have a much bigger HODL, so I would probably go with Mara on that one. Okay. Hi, so if BTC at 90 to 100,000, where do you see Iren Cleanspark price? Thank you. So that's roughly, what is it now, 50% growth from where they are right now, where Bitcoin is right now. 50% growth on that, I would at least expect them to do at least a 2x, maybe a little bit more than that, but that's kind of what I would expect. Okay. SH says, hi, Seb, I listened to your opinion about Bitfarms yesterday, and I think your decision is an emotional one, not based on the facts and future results. When you said you will sell if they don't deliver hash rate, I think you're talking about. It's not based on that. I'm giving a little bit of time because it's more based on the metrics that I do, right? The operational uptime, the growth that they have going forward. It's just right now we haven't seen that, and the stock isn't doing that well because of it. So I'm giving him a little bit of a benefit of doubt that they will get their hash rate installed more so in October, into October, November, and then more so in December as well, right? If we see that, things will be okay, I think. But it just seems like there's always one thing after another with Bitfarms where it's, we covered it all. But recently it's just the board member that's selling, Bonta, which was the prior, what was he? Co-founder of the company as well. And he's selling shares right now. He's sold like 2.5 billion shares in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So that's having a negative impact on it. But I try to keep emotions out of it. I try to look at the fundamentals, right? Operational uptime, How are they doing? How are they growing? Things like that. That's what I've been based what I based Cleanspark on and Iren on as well. CORZ was just one of those things where it's like, okay, I was so negative on CORZ for a long time because they were in bankruptcy. And then finally things changed around. I'm like, okay, I got to get into this one. That one maybe was more emotional than anything else. Okay. Eddie says, Iren should announce news on their other site in Texas would definitely help out the stock. In total, they have close to 3 gigawatts, only 1.4 already known. The other has been not announced. Yeah. And their current site is what, 600 megawatts, I think, that they're working on Childress. So that's 2 gigawatts right there. So we still have approximately, 1 gigawatt that's been unannounced, basically, or unknown. Okay. I said, which one is the best undervalued stock with high growth potential? For that, we would have to go back to here. I think it's still between Cleanspark. I would say Cleanspark. Bitfarms is getting to 21 exahash this year, 35 exahash the next year sometime. Cleanspark's supposed to get to 37 plus exahash this year. They're targeting 50 exahash early next year, and then we'll have to wait to see what they come out with for their growth plans in 2025. But I think Cleanspark right now, based on this simple number that they're valued at 43 million per exahash right now, compared to whereas Twilio was being valued at 200 million, and they actually have less exahash for future. Well, they don't have any future growth there, so that's where I would be looking at some of these guys here. Okay, let's go back to the Q&A. What else we got here? Let's see. Paras, have you seen Tesla installing 100,000 GPUs in 19 days? Yeah, I mean, that was in their, what was it, Kentucky site? I believe it was in Kentucky. Oh, man. And they got people all up in arms in there because they don't have all the power that they need, and they're running the generators, the diesel generators, and they're saying that it's, generating emissions and things like that. They got to deal with that. So your question, hi, Seb, Mara, in numbers, end of the year, if BTC 100,000, when do you expect the biggest move upside to reach realistically 3 to 5x? I would expect it to be when Bitcoin gets closer to like 150,000. And 3 to 5x, if Bitcoin gets to 150,000, 180,000, that's more like a 3x on those guys. I would expect miners to be at least 5x from there, if not more. Okay. Let's see. Just looking trading volume in 2 days, I feel like somebody is buying during Bunta dumping. Maybe. I don't know who else there's probably people that are buying. Okay. Eddie says, I believe the reason Bitfarms is not performing well is mainly their sites. It's not that great looking, disappointing designs, look underdeveloped, and comparing to Iren or Cleanspark, it looks sad. No, you're probably talking about the picture that you saw with the clay facade of some of the buildings here where they were in building. But in Paraguay, there's a different way that they build things than they build here in the United States or in Canada even. So you can't really take that into consideration. You have to look at it once the whole thing is finished. But it is a different design. I will admit that. Okay. But the design also shouldn't really matter. I mean, it's the operations of it. Can they operate efficiently in those sites? That's the main thing. Okay. What would the mining fees be per block Bitcoin bull run starts? Oh, God. That's going to be interesting. I don't know. They could definitely go up because you could have the ordinals, what was the other one? The runes start to pump as well, right? Which are on top of the Bitcoin network there. You could have also the altcoins and everything in transactions. If there's a lot of trading going on, those definitely could go up. I just don't know how much that would be. Okay, LTD, thoughts on miners transitioning. Are they seeing a weakness in BTC? I get value add vertical integration, but no development in your core business is not positive forward guidance, in my opinion. Potentially, yeah. Bitcoin mining is a tough business. It's not an easy business to get into. You need capital, you need to execute well, you need to continue to grow. The thing that they're always talking about is that you need basically 10 megawatts to equal the same amount of revenue they get from 1 megawatt of HPC AI. So there is a difference there also, but it's also more costly to get into HPC AI. There's a lot of differences between the two. There's cyclicality to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin goes on a bull run, goes into a bear market. You're making pennies at that point. Not maybe pennies, but you know what I mean when it comes to Bitcoin mining at that point. And then you also have to change out machines all the time. So will we see the same thing with HPC AI? Possibly. We already saw Iren talked about how, just going back probably 5 months back, Iren talked about how the HPC, the H100s, they're looking at like 24 months for a break even, an ROI on those, right? Just recently, within the last month or so, they said that they're looking at more like 28 months now, right? 28, maybe 30 months to break even on those. So you're seeing those kind of dynamics happening here, and we're still very early in these stages of HPCI where we don't know where it's all going to go, really. If you have a lot of supply being added to the network, right, for HPC-AI, is that going to actually lead to lower revenues for these guys going forward? Because they're going to be all battling for the same customers. So how do you battle for those? Well, you can either offer better services or you can cut prices. Supply and demand, economics at play. Okay. Let's see here. Seb, if you delete BitDigital, won't Mara be the highest cost per coin mined left on your list? Let me take a look here. You might be right there. Let me see if I can find it here. Cost to mine. Where is it at? Break even numbers here. Yeah, I mean, they were kind of close to each other, BitDigital and Marathon, because at least Marathon still hosts a lot of their machines, and same thing with BitDigital. So yeah, I mean, it's still going to be pretty close on there. All right. Bevneed says 100% in the bull run, the Bitcoin price action has been completely different these past few days. We're going to take off soon. Now, that would be fantastic. I'm all for that. Okay. True Rebel Production, how you hedge your position? I don't hedge my position. I just buy shares in the companies. Is MicroStrategy having a healthy pullback? Any pullback that they are having, I believe, would be healthy for them. I think it's just gone way too much here recently. Here's the chart on it, right? It's having a pullback. You can see here that, well, since the bottom here in August, it went up on a run of approximately, what was it, to the top here. It went up 100%, right? Where did Bitcoin go from that time frame? If you look at Bitcoin at that time frame as well, which was here in August. Where's August? Somewhere around here. Let's just pick here. We won't pick the bottom here exactly because that one is in September. But from here, you can see that Bitcoin's only gone up 18%, right? It has definitely front run Bitcoin here. So it needs a little healthy pullback, which I think is good for it to come back down a little bit to reality, and then it'll follow Bitcoin as it goes up again, I believe. As far as where it could go, as far as how low, that I don't know. I'm guessing it would probably, historically, it's come back down to the 200 simple moving day average, it looks like, and bounced off of that. So I would expect it maybe to come down to 130 at the most. Let's see, has it bounced off of, yeah, I mean, somewhere around here, maybe around here, 150, before it continues going back up, maybe around there is where I could see things for it. Okay. Other miners daily RSI are above 60. Some are 70. Bitfarms is 47. Yeah, but they could hold that for a while, right? Well, especially as price goes up, they could go above that kind of and bounce around that area for a while, for a couple of days, couple of weeks even, as their price goes up actually. So gotta keep that in mind. Let's see. Iren Update stated there were hyperscalers interested in working with them. Which ones do you think are in talks with Iren? Oh gosh, I don't know. You don't have that many hyperscalers anyways. What do you got? You got Google, Microsoft, Amazon. I mean, if you want to include Meta as a hyperscaler, I probably wouldn't include them as a hyperscaler. But you got them. Who else? Maybe Oracle. That's basically what I can think of here. But there's a couple of them that are probably in talks with them, maybe. Let's see. Roger says BlackRock is buying hella BTC for their ETF. Yes. Let's see. Question: what miners are undervalued apart from Iren and Cleanspark? Well, I think Hive is still undervalued, but Hive doesn't have much growth. They're, like I said before, they're only targeting 1% of the network hash rate. So if Bitcoin network hash rate gets to 1,000 exahash, they're looking to have maybe 10 exahash. Excuse me. At that point, so I don't know. Let's see. Why do you think Tesla just moved 765 million in Bitcoin to an unknown wallet? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I saw that yesterday as well. Could they be loaning it out? I don't know. I mean, it's part of collateral on something, a collateral on loan. I don't know. Let's see. LTD says, I keep nibbling on Bitfarms. This dip over past couple months has shaved 10 cents off my average. I'm so lost on Bitfarms. It literally makes no sense to me. Everything else invested is in green and green to glowing. Yeah, I know it's painful. Depending when you got into some of these guys, some of you guys might still be in the red. That's why I've been a strong proponent of dollar cost averaging, because you just don't know where the bottom is going to be, especially when you buy in at different times. But that's a good way to lower your average cost in. Okay. During BlackRock's third quarter earnings call, Larry Fink suggested that if Bitcoin market cap reached 50 trillion, the price of a single BTC could skyrocket to 2.5 million. That seems about right? 20 million shares or 20 million Bitcoin out there, approximately times 2.5 million. Yeah, you're looking at yeah, that would work out. Okay. If Iren's building out their sites very quickly, they aren't doing it on accident. They know the long-term value for AI and BTC. Once market realize this, price discovery will be insane. Yeah, we need to get above their previous all-time high, or previous high in this cycle at least, and then we'll get into price discovery as well. But I do believe that Iren is way undervalued still. Let's see, President Roberts in the interview stated that they have more than 2x the megawatts capacity than Silicon Valley. I don't know about that. Silicon Valley has servers and data centers all over the world. I don't know how many megawatts they have completely, but I don't know about that. See, did you buy Bitfarms today? I did not. No, I've been busy at work and everything else. I'm going to see if I can maybe buy some more either tomorrow or Friday. Okay. M says, I'm pretty sure Bitfarms doesn't go up because I have shares. Yeah, you need more people buying it. Okay. Anybody that followed Invest Answers during the bear market made a lot of money. He was talking about MicroStrategy when it was 13 before the stock split. Cleanspark at 2 to 3 and Sonar Lake at 15. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Cleanspark when it was at 9, going all the way down to $1 something. But yeah, I definitely follow Invest Answers, and he's done really good. Okay. LTD says, hope some of you are looking into ASML. Currently, I smell fear. I saw something about them today. I don't know exactly what it was. Can't trying to draw my memory. Can't think what it was, but I saw something about ASML in an article, I think. Would you exit Bitfarms or continue to hold? Depending when you got into it, and if you're upside down, or can you dollar cost average into it? I'm still holding for at least another month and a half to see how they do with their growth. I need to see their growth happening here, and we should really see it here in October and November. So we'll reevaluate things like beginning of December. Okay. Hey, so did you have a chance to talk to Ben? I did not. I just sent him a private chat on X, asking him if he would have time for a 30 minutes to an hour conversation and Q&A. I haven't heard a response back from him yet. But that's normal from what I've seen from CEOs on X. It takes like a day or two, maybe 3 at most, to get a response back from them. They got better things to do than sit on X, which is a good thing. Let's see here. Hello, Sebastian, and thank you for all the work and information that you provide for us. Did you reach out to... Yeah, I just talked about that. Let's see. Do you know why we had an uptick in mining fees earlier this evening? Mining fees... Well, it wouldn't be an uptick in mining fees. It would be in mining and transaction fees. But that could be based on just volume, and could be also based on runes and the other one. The other... Before runes, there was... I'm drawing a blank here. Oh, it sucks getting old. You guys know what I mean. The other thing that you can do on Bitcoin Network. Let's see. LTD says, excellent input on HPC versus miners. Thanks, Seb, for the support. Well, you're very welcome on that. Thank you for coming in here. Seb, compared to HPC, how many of the miners are profitable overall in the last 28 months? Seems 2 positive quarters in the last 3 years, and most if we have seen by anyone. If you're looking at all the... Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the all non-cash being included in there, then yes, they would be unprofitable. A lot of them would be unprofitable. But if you look at just like the cash-based aspects of it, a lot of them, based on EBITDA, I think, right? EBITDA is the one that they look at that strips out the non-cash stuff. a lot of these guys would still be doing pretty good here. Maybe not really good, but they'd be doing okay in the bear market, and then really good as things pick up. Okay. S. Romney says, add another 400 shares to Bitfarms today. Let's go, Ben. Let's close the valuation gap with the big miners. Yep. Okay. Which top 3 miners are the BlackRock's or Fidelity's favorite? My thought is they are going 3x, 4x. You got, what is he got? Cleanspark probably, Marathon, Riot. I think the Cipher's in there as well. TerraWolf, I'd have to look into the data there, but I know that they have their hands in a lot of these guys. Based on your latest news on Iren, does your price target change? No, because that site won't be built out until like 2026 sometime, where I'm thinking the bull run will be over by then. So not really, but it does give him optionality though, which is good. Okay. Would you buy more Iren versus Bitfarms and Cleanspark? Depending where you are and what you own already, I actually think that Cleanspark might surprise us here. They have a history record of doing that. So I would think maybe, it's a tough one. I would say Cleanspark, then Iren, then Bitfarms right now currently, because Bitfarms has been lagging. Okay, Benny says, everyone used to chill on Bitfarms. Even last cycle, it lagged behind and then rocketed. Okay, that's good to know. And I agree. Eventually, I think they will catch up. Okay. What else we here? Hi Seb, with Digital's acquisition of Novum data centers, do you have any updated price predictions or thoughts on how this might impact Digital stock? Thank you. I have more questions on that one than I do have answers on it, unfortunately. The Novum acquisition, I think, is good for them. It is costly, right? They're paying approximately $10 to $11 million per megawatt there. We know it's going to be more expensive because you're dealing with tier 3 data centers. The thing on that is that they're making like around 10, I'm estimating, not estimating, but just kind of rounding it. It's like around $10 million right now in revenue a year from that site. That's not much. You're looking at like 4 years ROI to get on it. Now they're also adding more megawatts next year, which they're looking to spend about $50 million on top of that. So I mean, they're spending money on it, but when are they going to get what's the time frame on the ROI? That's the question that I have there. And then also with them not improving their Bitcoin mining right now, that's kind of why I'm getting rid of them here in my list, because they're not growing with that, and it doesn't look like they're going to be growing on it. I'll keep an eye on them. I'll keep them updated and things like that, just in case they do surprise us and say they're getting 20 exahash next year. But for the time being, I will be removing them out. So I'm sorry, unfortunately, I really don't know where they're going to be yet. Okay. SNH says, investors tend to have short memory. Bitfarms issues are minor, and we need to give Ben more time to deliver at least 2 to 3 quarters before we judge the company. Cleanspark and Iren trading at 50% from the 52-week highs. Yeah. And I've been saying that in our Discord server as well, that, you need to give Ben a little bit more time. He's been only the CEO there for like 3 or 4 months. You can't expect miracles to happen overnight. So I think there's been already a lot of good things happening there at the company. Let's see here. Bitfarms is going to moon after you sell it. If I knew that was the case, that after I sold it was going to moon, I would sacrifice myself for you guys, and so you guys could have good profits on it. Let's see here. I think you were referring to ordinals. Yes, ordinals and runes. Thank you. Okay. How would you evaluate a scenario where Bitfarms reaches 18 exahash by end of year? Let's assume BTC is 80,000. Okay, so they're going to be down they're going to be short 3 exahash from their goal of 21 exahash, right? If they say that's going to be installed within 2 weeks to 4 weeks of that, okay, that's not too bad, right? Cleanspark was off by their end of year estimates as well. Things happen out of their control sometimes. The power doesn't get hooked up or whatever it might not be. So that's not too bad. But if it's going to be 18 exahash and then they don't get the rest of the 3 exahash for another 3 months, okay, that's going to be bad. But as far as, let's assume Bitcoin's at 80,000 at that point. I mean, so I would think this should be probably around like $4 or $5 at that point. I'm guessing somewhere around there, if not higher. Let's see. Dynamite Uber says, Seb, I need to know, are there Venezuelan gang members where you live? No. I also live out in the suburbs. I live in a small town, less than 10,000 people. Okay. Looking at Bitfarms and Hive, both lagging this year, both Canadian companies. Maybe that is the issue. That could be it. The institutions, they only have about 22, 23% of institutions buying into them. And I don't know if that also includes Bitfarms or Riot there. I think Riot's separate. I think Riot's separately from that. So I think, it's kind of low compared to the other miners. And maybe that would be a good enough reason for Bitfarms to move their headquarters to the United States, especially as they're buying Stronghold and looking to have more operations in the United States as well. Okay. Yuri says, why are you so critical on Iren HPC when compared to their mining segment? It's actually outperforming. If you're looking at profit margin, yes, it's outperforming that. But once Bitcoin gets to like 100,000, 110,000, it's going to be making more money on Bitcoin mining than they will from HPC. I think the profit margins will be the same at that point or close to that, where they're generating a heck of a lot more money. Okay. What's your target for right at the peak of BTC bull run? I'm thinking somewhere around 40, 50 if they don't fix their operational uptime. If they fix their operational uptime, then I think they could be higher than that. Okay. Brian says, Bitfarms is up over 7% in months. What's wrong with that? Not bad considering the state of the economy. Yeah, but the other miners are up 30, 40%, or 20, 30%, something like that. So that's why they're lagging behind the other miners. They're not performing as well as them. Okay. Do you still see BTC at 75 by the end of the month? Where do you see Bitfarms at then? I still think Bitcoin can get to 75,000 by the end of the month here. Bitfarms at that point, like maybe $2.50, $3, the way it's going right now. Okay. Mr. Credit says the state of the economy is amazing. LOL. Dan Roberts just tweeted. What did he tweet? Okay, let's see. Dan Roberts, another milestone reached on the road to 510 megawatts of data centers in 2024. Iren substation transformers are now in place at Chiller's Phase 3. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So them and Cleanspark have been doing a phenomenal job this year at executing. Let's see. What are the chances of Iren working or signing a contract with Microsoft? I don't know. I wish I was a fly on the wall in some of those meetings. I really do. We could have like a little miniaturized, but that would be like espionage, I think, at that point. If we had a little miniaturized drone that we could fly in there and listen in on this stuff, things you could hear. Let's see, someone check if Bunta sold more shares today. I did check. I checked before we went on live to see if he sold, and he hasn't sold any. It seems like he's selling every couple of days. Okay. Okay. So about the HPCI contracts, how are they making them? How long? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year contracts? What's the minimum they can get? I don't know what the minimum is, but Iren has been getting contracts that have been a couple months. And Dan has said that it is actually beneficial to them because they can actually charge a little bit more from those than you would from a longer term contract. All right. So I just don't know. Okay. Let's see. October 16, Bitfarms, maybe in Bitfarms was 27 cents. Then it went all the way up to $9 or $10. Can it do the same multiples? You're talking about back in or last year, was it at 27 cents? I think it went that low. Or the previous cycle, maybe the previous cycle. Can it do the same multiples from the bottom? I don't know. Let's see, Athlete's Edge. I just joined. What is removing miner? I'm removing BitDigital from my miner list here for the large miners. I'll probably put them in the smaller miner list for the time being because they're not just growing their hash rate anymore, it seems like. And I have a high conviction that they probably won't do that anymore going forward. I think they're just going to run out their machines that they do have and then call it a day with Bitcoin mining and move more into HPC-AI. Okay. See, Trivial says, I just speculate into all miners. My profits are crazy. Way to go. Yeah, if you get in the right time, it can definitely be very good. If you get in the wrong time, it can be very painful. Okay. yeah, removing Bit Digital from the analysis as the CEO pretty much came out and said we're just gonna chill, bro, and not thinking of growing for Bitcoin mining. Yeah. Let's see. Sorry, is this bad news for Iren? What's bad news? Okay, let's see. Ryan says, glad I swapped half of my Riot for Cleanspark. Riot's actually been doing pretty good here in the last couple of days. It's up like 20% over from the beginning of the month. So it's actually doing pretty good, I guess. What are your thoughts on Coinbase, coin shares? I think in the bull run, it does very well. When there's a lot of volume, a lot of trading, and everything else like that, that's where they make their money. And that's when it does really well. When we go back down, that's a different story. Okay, perhaps Bunta is done selling for now. He needed money after being kicked out. Maybe, yeah. We don't know. We'll find out in a couple of days if he sold some more. Where did you get the draft, sir? That one we got as a present when my first son was born. So Molly's been with us for, gosh, now almost 13 years. Time flies when you have fun. Let's see. Bitfarms low in December 2022 was 40 cents. Yeah, I knew it got down pretty low. So from 40 cents, if it gets up to, let's just say $20 at the peak, right? Possibly. What is that X going to be wise? That's going to be, is that a 50X? No. Could that be a 50X? Let me see my calculator here really quick. So 20 divided by 40, or 0.40. 0.4. Yeah, that'd be like a 50X at that point if you bought in at 40 cents and held on to it to $20. Yeah. Eddie says, Iren has over 400 people on site building out. Do you think they will increase that to build out even quicker instead of 15 megas per? I don't know. I don't think they need to do that. I think it's better to grow kind of like in paces, right? You don't want to just go from 0 to 100. You want to build over time. You want to do that because if you build out too quickly and you get to your exahash that you're at that point, you're stuck at that exahash. And as the network hash rate continues to grow, your Bitcoin mining amount goes down. So I think you want to keep up the growth and be just ahead of the network hash rate growth. That would be the ideal growth for me. Let's see. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm trying to catch up here. I missed something. Okay, I talked about that. Okay. Did you buy Bitfarms today? I did not. No, I was just too busy with work and everything else. I did not get a chance. We'll try to buy some more either tomorrow or Friday at the latest. Let's see, I just know this guy, a top G. Take care, boss. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night, and thanks for coming in. Okay. Brandon Mays says, I'm buying as much Mara, Riot, Hive, and Argo as I can. Why Argo? I gotta be honest with you. Why Argo? Argo doesn't own any infrastructure anymore. They have older generation miners. Am I missing something there with them? The other ones I could possibly see, Mara, Riot, and Hive. Hive would be also questionable, but Mara and Riot, okay. I can see why. Let's see. Limiting factor for Iren is miners arriving. They are new 13.5 exahash ones. Joules per terahash, you mean, not exahash ones. Yeah. LTD says, bought Riot the other day, up 25%, same day Bitfarms. That's down from then. Like I said, keep DCA, but DCA, but yeah. I know your pain. I've been there. Let's see. Hi, said, why not move your Bitfarms to Cipher? I'm still in the green on Bitfarms, right? I've been buying it since 2022, January. I bought it all the way down to like 40 cents. So that helped out tremendously. And I have a pretty low average share price on it right now as it is. Cipher right now. Cipher for me, okay, the HPCI play might be interesting there, right? Depending what happens there, but that's questionable. And then their Bitcoin mining is not going to really take off until sometime in 2025 when they finish up building their sites. So that's why I would not get into Cipher really. But I could be wrong on that. But I'm just going with the data that I have. Okay. Let's see. BlackRock bought 400 million USD Bitcoin. Nice. Brendan, he said, why Argo? He says, I'm going to get rid of it. This is not your first time saying that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hey, Seb, what are your thoughts on the lawsuit against Iren? I think it's frivolous, to be honest with you guys. I'm hoping it gets kicked out. Let's see. And then how long do you continue to hold the miners when it's the bear cycle, or for Bitcoin, do you sell them or DCA? I'm looking to see when to exit. When they go down hard. Yeah. I'm looking to possibly start dollar cost averaging out of these guys, like, 5% here, 5% there, 10% here, so forth and so on. Once Bitcoin gets closer to around 100,000, I just don't know where the top's going to be at. I'm guessing my thoughts is around 180,000. I could be wrong on that. Last cycle, a lot of people were saying 100,000. We never got there. We got to 69,000. So that's why I'm going to say I'm going to start slowly dollar cost averaging out of the miners as Bitcoin goes up in value, right? I'm not going to be able to pick the top, but that's okay. If I can get on the way up and I can get it on the way down, I'll be happy with that. Oh, let's see what else. LTD says, I want CORZ news about the block miner. Yeah, so do I. We had the one press release come out. We haven't seen anything else from it since. So I would like to see some more information on that one as well. What miner has lousy hash? Lousy as in joules per terahash, uptime. There's a lot of ways to think of it as lousy hash. Old Man says, good evening, Seb. I'm thinking Iren and Cleanspark are a pair of Shelby Cobras. I know we both have a lot invested emotionally in Bitfarms, but right now it's the Carman Gia in Nido transmission. Ouch. Oh, I don't know what kind of car that is. Carmen. I don't know what kind of car that is. Maybe like a Ford Pinto. Is that what you're talking about? Maybe there? Possibly. Okay. Sana, Bitfarms or Shift. I still think Bitfarms, but time will tell if it's not a Shift. Okay. Then it says, I'm going to front run you at 95,000 Sebos. Yeah, there might be some people front running me. I'll let you guys know when I start selling, just like I let you guys know when I buy. Let's see. Hi, so do you think BitDigital won't take part in the bull run now? They still have 2.4 exahash, right? So they might Bitcoin going up, I think they're going to definitely go up as well. I just don't know if they're going to do better than some of the other miners that are generating more revenue, more Bitcoins and everything else than them. But with them, they could catch a bid on the HPCI play more so. That's tough. Let's see. Sparky's no best. No best. Oh, Sparky's, yeah, no best. Okay, let's see. Historically, Bitfarms has been laggard 2020. They ran after October 21st, 2023. Then they ran end of November. I guess next week we'll know. History doesn't repeat but rhymes. Yes. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Okay. All right, I think I've caught up to all you guys' questions here. We'll see what happens tomorrow, right? We're still early in this cycle. Things can change a lot. We saw, Cleanspark, Iren getting a nice bid here in the last basically week or so. Outperforming some of the other miners as well. They've been beaten down. So it's going to be interesting, I think, but in a good way. I believe, I was thinking about this before I was doing this stream here tonight. I'm like, there should be like a version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and with Bitcoin miners. Have all the questions for the Bitcoin miners, and then you have to answer them to become a millionaire. But there should be a show like that. I mean, the amount of information that we get from these guys and everything else that happens so fluidly and fast in this space is amazing. I greatly enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. But that is it. So have a great night. Thank you again for coming in to watch this, spending a little time with me, spending about an hour and 15 minutes roughly with me. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll get you guys updated for anything that happens at that point. All right. See you then.